Hello everyone and welcome to our Helaba Schuldschein market update. My name is Gutermann, responsible for corporate DCM, and with me today someone you know very well, Ulrich Kirschner, senior analyst at Helaba Research and our specialist for the corporate Schuldschein. Hi Uli, and good to have you here.
Hello Morris.
Yes, well, we've come to the end of another Schuldschein year, a very interesting and successful one, even though a little bit unusual. I think one can say that the year consisted of two completely different halves. It started out positive and then sort of went down toward basically almost nothing in the middle of the year. And then when we came back from summer break, there was a new wave of transactions culminating, I think, in a proper fireworks display in Q4. I'm sure this is your impression as well, Uli, and maybe we can start with some data. What can you tell us about the market in Q4?
Yeah, Morris, you are absolutely right here. After, let's say, a really quiet start into the year in the first half of the year, we had a real substantial recovery in the fourth quarter. In total, a whopping 7.1 billion euros were placed in 48 transactions. That is the highest volume in more than 2 years, actually. And with this number, the entire volume, issuance volume for 2021 reached close to 20 billion euros. Again, a very solid result from my point of view.
Yes, Uli, well, what would you say were the main drivers for this quite positive market, and mostly are they here to stay?
Well, I believe one key point here is that companies were actually quite successful in reducing their excess liquidity. An excess liquidity that was built up in 2020 due to the Corona crisis, of course, and we noticed especially that the cyclical companies have bolstered their liquidity cushion substantially. And with this increased balance sheet cash, refinancing needs at the beginning of the year were quite low or lower than before. But now, with this normalization of cash levels, we see that a lot of these companies are returning to the marketplace, and especially cyclical companies are more active in the market again. And I think that is probably one main reason why we saw this favorable development in Q4, and I think this is going to continue in the next couple of quarters.
Well, let's talk about the main trend or trends that will carry over into next year. I think everything to do with sustainability should be the most important one.
Yeah, Morris, of course, ESG, the topic ESG is something that continues to really gain in importance. In 2021, almost 30% of the issuance volume was placed with a sustainability component. That is a new record value, and it gets even more interesting when we look at the current quarter. Because in the current quarter, for the first time, we saw that almost all currently popular ESG formats were used by the corporates. We had green Schuldschein, of course, we had social Schuldschein, and we had sustainability Schuldschein, all where the proceeds are earmarked for special projects. And on top of that, we had issues sustainability linked to a rating or to KPIs. And when I look at the chart here where you can see all these 5 different formats, there is especially one new color, the gray one. And Morris, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Indeed, thanks, Uli. In fact, this gray area is a single transaction by a client of Hellerberg, and we led a new Schuldschein for Medicover, a Swedish company in the healthcare business, and with the first certified social corporate Schuldschein. And we think there will be more of those in the coming years, but this was the very first one, and we're very happy to have been a part of it.
Well, I think that really shows that there is really a substantial dynamic going on in the segment. And I think that is something that is going to continue in the next quarters for sure here.
Well, speaking of continuing, let's talk about the overall outlook for 2022 and your expectations, of course.
Well, Maurice, also for the general outlook, I would say that the increased dynamics we saw in the fourth quarter now will continue, will spill into the next quarters. Companies will focus again on refinancing their growth investments and on replacing their maturing debt. Moreover, with rising interest rates, we expect that the unfavorable effect of the zero interest floor with the Schuldschein is going to vanish piece by piece. And that will attract the interest or increasing interest from a more rated investment grade companies that otherwise would finance over the bond market. On the other side of the table, we also have the issuers there. And issuer demand is still strong. That's what we can see with all the oversubscription in the fourth quarter. So with all these three effects, I would believe that the conditions are very good, that we will see another dynamic year in the Schuldschein market. So I believe in 2022, the market volume will surpass the 20 billion euros substantially once again.
Yes, thank you, Uli. And let me just pick up on one point you made about the possible return of rated issuers. They've been notably absent recently, well, simply because of the dislocations in terms of pricing, the differential between the bond and the Schuldschein markets. I think as soon as these markets normalize, we'll be seeing more of them, and that is another potential growth factor. So basically you've said it all. Thank you very much for this update. My takeaway is a very positive one and something we can all look forward to. I think that's it for us for this year. Thanks to everybody for watching, and we'll see you at our next quarterly update. In the meantime, happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.